most people don't realize it. But there is one habit silently shaping your mind, your motivation, and your very life. A habit so common, so natural, that we barely notice it until it's too late. Every day, countless men and women fall into the trap of instant pleasure, seeking comfort, release, or a quick dopamine hit. And each time, a piece of your focus, a piece of your discipline slips away. What if I told you that this habit, seemingly harmless, could be the very thing standing between you and the life you dream of? That the Stoics, centuries ago, warned against surrendering control to desires just like this, and that mastering self-control is the ultimate path to freedom, strength, and purpose. Today, we're going to uncover the truth about this habit. We'll reveal how it silently drains your energy, destroys your focus, and weakens the foundation of discipline. The foundation every successful, resilient, and powerful man needs. By the end of this video, you'll understand why self-mastery isn't optional, why Stoicism offers the clearest path, and why the moment you take control over this one thing, your life can change forever. This isn't about shame. This isn't about guilt. This is about truth. And when you know the truth, you have the power to change everything. Let's begin with a truth almost no one talks about. This habit isn't just physical, it is psychological. It rewires your brain, dulls your motivation, and slowly erodes your self-discipline, the very thing that makes a man free. Imagine this. Every time you surrender to a moment of instant pleasure, your brain releases a flood of dopamine, a rush of satisfaction, fleeting and deceptive. And then, nothing. A void. Your energy is drained, your mind feels heavy, your willpower weakens, almost imperceptibly, day by day. You may not notice it at first. You may even convince yourself it's harmless, it's natural. But the truth is brutal. You're training yourself to seek instant gratification. Every time you give in, you make it harder to resist the next temptation. You're weakening the one muscle you truly need: self-control. And here is where the Stoics come in. Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, Seneca, they all warned against allowing desires to rule the mind. Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Think about that. Freedom is not wealth. Freedom is not status. Freedom is the mastery of your mind, your impulses, your actions. Now, let me tell you a story. There was a young man, brilliant and full of potential, who spent hours every day chasing fleeting pleasure. His goals, his studies, his relationships, all of them suffered. He didn't notice the slow erosion of his focus. He didn't see the way it drained his energy, leaving him restless, anxious, and empty. And then one day, an embarrassing incident forced him to face reality. He realized he had given his power away, habit by habit, moment by moment. That moment of realization is the first step, because awareness precedes change. And once you see the truth, once you understand the hidden cost of this habit, you begin the journey to reclaim what is rightfully yours: focus, discipline, and self-mastery. But understanding the problem is only the beginning. The deeper truth lies ahead. How this habit manipulates your mind, erodes your energy, and sets the stage for failure in ways you've never imagined. And this is why most people never escape it, because they never see it clearly. Today, we will see it clearly, now that we understand the hidden cost. Let's examine what happens inside your mind. Every time you give in to instant pleasure, your brain releases a surge of dopamine, a chemical reward, a fleeting sense of satisfaction. It feels good for a moment. But the truth is darker than it appears. This habit conditions your mind to seek constant, immediate gratification. Your brain begins to crave more and more. Small pleasures like reading, learning, or creating, things that once brought genuine fulfillment, suddenly feel dull, boring, unworthy of attention. This is the trap. Dopamine enslaves you. It rewires your reward system. You start to live for short bursts of satisfaction instead of long-term achievement. And every time you indulge, the gap between who you are and who you could be grows wider. Think of it like training a wild horse. If you reward the horse for running aimlessly, it will never respond to guidance. If you reward your brain for chasing every impulse, it will never respond to discipline. And discipline, as the Stoics understood, is the foundation of all freedom. Without it, you are not a master of yourself. You are a servant to fleeting desires. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." Consider that carefully. Your mind is colored, shaped, and enslaved by the habits you feed. Every fleeting indulgence leaves a mark. Every moment of surrender weakens your ability to act intentionally, to choose wisely, to live purposefully. But awareness is the first weapon. Awareness allows you to see the chains that have formed, to recognize the subtle manipulations of your own biology. Awareness lets you reclaim what the habit has taken: energy, focus, motivation, clarity. Imagine a young man, brilliant and ambitious, yet exhausted, anxious and frustrated. He cannot focus on his work. He loses interest in meaningful relationships. His ideas vanish in the haze of distraction. He thinks he is powerless against his desires, until he discovers the Stoic truth. The only power he ever lost is the power to choose. The moment he sees the manipulation, he begins to reclaim his freedom. But the process is not instant. It requires self-discipline, patience, and deliberate practice. And that is where the next chapter begins. Understanding the deeper consequences of this habit on the very muscle that defines a strong man. Discipline itself. Discipline. The word alone carries power. The Stoics called it the foundation of freedom. The invisible muscle that strengthens the mind, protects the soul, and enables greatness. But this habit, this silent thief, attacks it relentlessly. Discipline is like a muscle. Every time you give in to an impulse, it weakens. Every time you chase a fleeting thrill, it loses a little more strength. And just like a muscle left unused when you need it most, it fails. Think of a man trying to wake early to work on his goals. Day after day, he hits the snooze button. Each time, he tells himself, just this once. But the habit has already trained him. The muscle of discipline is fatigued before the day even begins. The Stoics understood this perfectly. Seneca said, "Most powerful is he who has himself in his own power." Without discipline, you are not powerful. You are powerless. You may have wealth, opportunities, or even talent, but without the strength to control yourself, these gifts slip through your fingers like water. Consider the domino effect. One moment of surrender leads to another. One weak decision becomes a series of failures. A man who cannot control his impulses becomes a man who cannot control his life. Goals are abandoned. Relationships suffer. Dreams are deferred. But this story is not meant to leave you hopeless. It is meant to awaken you. Awareness is the first step, but action is the second. To reclaim your life, to rebuild the muscle of discipline, you must confront the truth, embrace discomfort, and practice restraint deliberately every day. Imagine a young man who begins to resist his impulses. He fails at first. He gives in again. But with each conscious choice, the muscle grows stronger. Morning by morning, day by day, he takes back control. Slowly, the fog lifts, his mind sharpens, his focus returns, his energy, once scattered, is now concentrated on meaningful action. This is the Stoic path. Discipline is not punishment. Discipline is freedom. Discipline is power. And the man who learns to master his impulses, to delay gratification, and to embrace purposeful action becomes the master of his mind, and ultimately, the master of his life. Focus, the rarest and most valuable skill in the modern world. Yet one habit, seemingly harmless, almost invisible, strips it away from you, day by day, moment by moment. Every time you surrender to fleeting pleasure, a part of your attention is stolen. Not just for the moment, but for the hours, days, and weeks that follow. Tasks that once felt manageable become overwhelming. Projects are abandoned. Ideas are forgotten. Your mind, once sharp and clear, becomes foggy and distracted. Consider this. A young man filled with ambition sits down to work. His phone buzzes. A notification flashes. One glance, one moment of indulgence, and his focus is gone. What could have been 3 productive hours turns into a scattered afternoon of frustration. The Stoics understood this principle centuries ago. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Distraction is not just a nuisance, it is an obstacle to mastery. The man who cannot resist distraction cannot advance. The mind that gives in easily cannot achieve greatness. Yet, the tragedy is subtle. Unlike obvious failure, the erosion of focus is almost invisible. You don't notice the hours lost, the potential wasted. You simply feel restless, unfulfilled, and frustrated. And over time, that frustration turns into resignation. The quiet acceptance that this is who I am. But awareness opens the door. When you see clearly how your habits shape your attention, you gain the power to reclaim it. The man who practices deliberate focus, who says no to fleeting pleasure in order to say yes to meaningful action, begins to experience a transformation. Tasks that once seemed impossible become achievable. Projects that once stalled begin to move. Life, once chaotic, begins to have rhythm, purpose, and clarity. Focus is not natural. It is a skill, a muscle, a discipline. And this habit, this subtle thief, robs it silently. The first step to mastery is seeing the theft clearly. The next step is acting with courage, restraint, and purpose. Pleasure is not the enemy. The Stoics never claimed that enjoyment is wrong. Life is meant to be lived. Moments of joy, beauty, and satisfaction are natural, even necessary. But there is a danger, the danger of enslavement. When a man allows himself to be ruled by desire, when he seeks pleasure at every turn, he becomes a servant to his impulses rather than a master of his mind. Imagine a man who chases every fleeting desire. He believes pleasure will bring happiness, but it doesn't. The satisfaction is temporary, the relief is short-lived, and the craving only grows stronger. Each moment of indulgence leaves him weaker, less resilient, and more distracted from his true purpose. The Stoics taught the art of self-mastery. Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Zeno, the founder of Stoicism, practiced deliberate simplicity. He sought not to avoid pleasure, but to avoid becoming dependent on it. Cleanthes emphasized inner strength, and Marcus Aurelius reflected constantly on the fleeting nature of desire. The lesson is clear. Freedom is not found in the pursuit of pleasure. Freedom is found in the mastery of the mind, in the ability to choose what is truly important and to resist what is unnecessary, distracting, or harmful. Consider the consequences of ignoring this wisdom. The man addicted to instant gratification loses time, energy, focus, and ultimately, purpose. He drifts through life, enslaved by impulses, unfulfilled despite external success. But the man who practices restraint, who understands that real pleasure comes from meaningful achievement, from discipline, from mastery of self, becomes powerful. He is no longer at the mercy of fleeting desires. He is guided by reason, purpose, and virtue. This is the Stoic path. The path is not easy. It requires awareness, courage, and daily practice. But the rewards are profound. A life of focus, clarity, and genuine fulfillment. A life where you are not controlled by impulses, but in control of your mind, your actions, and your destiny. We've explored the subtle theft of focus, the enslaving power of fleeting pleasure, and the erosion of discipline. But the consequences go even deeper. This habit doesn't just weaken your attention or steal your energy. It attacks the very core of your character. Imagine a man who has surrendered repeatedly to impulse. He may be outwardly strong, educated, or successful, but inside, he feels powerless. Confidence diminishes, anxiety rises, decisions become harder. The simplest challenges feel impossible. This is the weight of unmastered desires. Seneca warned, "If a man knows not to which port he sails, no wind is favorable." Without discipline, without control over your impulses, life becomes a storm without direction. You are buffeted by every temptation, every craving, every distraction. Your potential is wasted. Your willpower, the foundation of strength, crumbles beneath your feet. And yet, this weakness is not only personal, it is social. The man who cannot control himself struggles to maintain meaningful relationships. His integrity falters, trust is lost, opportunities vanish. He becomes a shadow of the man he could have been. But awareness, recognizing your own weakness, is the first step toward strength. The Stoics did not despair over human frailty. They studied it, observed it, and then offered a path to rise above it. Epictetus said, "First, say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." Strength is not given. It is earned, moment by moment, choice by choice. Consider the young man who feels ashamed, anxious, or frustrated. His transformation begins the moment he decides to resist, to practice restraint, to rebuild the muscle of self-discipline. Weakness is not permanent, it is temporary, like a cloud passing over the sun. The man who masters himself rises stronger, clearer, and more capable than ever before. Now imagine the opposite. The moment the chains are broken, the moment the mind begins to reclaim its power, this habit, once a silent thief, is no longer controlling you. And something remarkable happens. Energy returns, clarity returns, motivation returns. Life, which once felt heavy, begins to feel vibrant and alive again. Every ounce of wasted energy, every moment lost to distraction, begins to be redirected toward meaningful action. A man who was once anxious and fatigued now wakes with purpose. He focuses on what matters. He creates, he achieves. And with each victory, no matter how small, the muscle of discipline grows stronger. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Your struggles, your temptations, your previous failures, they are no longer obstacles. They are the training ground for mastery. Each resisted urge, each disciplined choice builds strength, resilience, and character. Imagine a young man who begins his day with purpose. He meditates, he journals, he works with focus, he resists impulses, and slowly, almost imperceptibly at first, he transforms. Confidence returns, creativity flows, relationships deepen, opportunities are no longer missed, they are seized. This is the Stoic promise. The mind, once disciplined, becomes unstoppable. Energy, once scattered, becomes concentrated. Life, once chaotic, becomes meaningful. The man who masters himself is free, not free from desire, but free from the power of desire over him. And the lesson is clear. Self-control is not a restriction. It is liberation. It is not a burden. It is power. The moment you stop surrendering, the moment you reclaim your mind, the world opens before you. Strength, clarity, and focus are no longer distant dreams. They are your reality. So far, we've explored the hidden costs of surrendering to fleeting pleasures, the loss of focus, the erosion of discipline, and the weakening of character. But knowledge alone is not enough. Awareness must be followed by action. The Stoics teach that self-control is a skill, a daily practice, a habit deliberately cultivated, not something that comes by chance or sheer willpower. Epictetus reminds us, first say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. Self-mastery is built in small, consistent steps. Let's consider some practical techniques the Stoics used and that you can apply today. Journaling. Each morning, reflect on what you aim to achieve, and each night, review your actions. Did you act in accordance with your values, or did impulses control you? Negative visualization. Imagine life without the comforts you often take for granted. By anticipating challenges, you prepare your mind to resist temptation and remain disciplined. Cold exposure, fasting, or deliberate discomfort. These are tools to strengthen willpower, to remind yourself that pleasure is optional, but virtue is essential. Digital decluttering. Remove the triggers that feed instant gratification. Turn off notifications. Delete distracting apps. The environment you create around yourself influences the choices you make. Discipline is not punishment. It is liberation. Each small practice, repeated daily, builds the muscle of self-control. A man who resists for a day, a week, a month, gains energy, clarity, and confidence. Each deliberate choice shapes identity. I am a man who acts with purpose. I am a man who controls himself. I am free. Remember, it is not one act that defines you, but the accumulation of consistent practice. The Stoics did not seek perfection. They sought mastery over themselves. And mastery is within your reach if you choose to take the deliberate steps every day. Understanding self-control is one thing. Mastering urges is another. The Stoics knew that urges are not enemies. They are tests. They are opportunities to practice reason, to exercise willpower, to assert mastery over the mind. Every urge you feel is a chance to choose. You can surrender to it, or you can respond intentionally. Urges are not permanent. They rise, peak, and fade if you do not chase them. The Stoic practice is to observe, pause, and redirect. Consider practical methods. Urge surfing. Watch the impulse like a wave. Feel it rise. Acknowledge it, but let it pass without action. Delay. Postpone indulgence for even a few minutes, then for an hour, then for a day. Each delay strengthens discipline. Redirect. Channel energy from fleeting pleasure into meaningful action. Work, fitness, learning, creation. Journaling helps. Write down urges, explore triggers, reflect on consequences. Awareness turns automatic reaction into deliberate action. This is how the mind trains itself to act with virtue, not impulse. Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Mastery over urges is mastery over life. Every choice you make against distraction, every decision to focus on purpose, every resisted temptation compounds. Slowly, invisibly, power grows. Confidence returns. Focus sharpens. Energy multiplies. Imagine a man who has struggled for years. At first, he fails. He gives in. But with consistent practice, with deliberate restraint, he begins to succeed. One day he realizes he has more energy than he thought, more control than he believed, more potential than he ever imagined. And that is the transformation the Stoics promise. A man who is no longer ruled by fleeting desire, but guided by reason, virtue, and purpose. Now imagine yourself free. Free not from the world, not from responsibilities, but free from the chains of fleeting impulses, weak habits, and scattered energy. This is the Stoic vision, the man who is master of himself. He rises early, not because he must, but because he chooses to. He works, studies, and creates with focus, clarity, and purpose. Each action is deliberate. Each moment is an opportunity to practice discipline, courage, and virtue. Marcus Aurelius said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." The Stoic man does not wait for circumstances to change. He changes himself. He does not wait for desire to vanish. He masters it. He does not wait for external success. He builds internal power. Imagine the energy he has reclaimed, the focus he now wields, the confidence that no longer wavers. Opportunities once missed are now seized. Ideas once scattered are now realized. His relationships deepen, his work flourishes, his mind is clear, and his soul is steady. This is not a fantasy. This is a promise grounded in ancient wisdom and proven by human experience. Every resisted urge, every deliberate act of self-control, every moment of purpose compounds over time. You do not transform overnight. You transform day by day, choice by choice, habit by habit. And here is the ultimate truth. The man you can become is far stronger, wiser, and freer than the man you are today. You are not defined by your past failures. You are defined by the choices you make right now, in this moment. Choose mastery. Choose discipline. Choose freedom. The journey we've explored today is not easy. It is not meant to be, but it is worth it. Every man faces temptation, distraction, and weakness. Every man must decide, will I be a servant to fleeting pleasures, or will I master myself? The Stoics teach us that freedom, power, and fulfillment come from within. They come from self-control, discipline, and purpose. They come from choosing what is important and rejecting what is unnecessary. You have the knowledge now. You understand the cost of surrender and the reward of mastery. The path is clear, and the power is yours. One deliberate choice, one resisted urge, one day of focus can begin your transformation. Become the man who is not swayed by impulses, who is guided by reason, who lives with clarity and purpose. Become the modern Stoic man, the master of his mind, the captain of his life. If this video resonated with you, take action today. Reflect, practice, and reclaim your energy. Share your journey in the comments and subscribe for more lessons in discipline, stoicism, and personal mastery. Your mind, your life, and your future are waiting. Take control. Start now.